Yes, you are listening to the Ready, Set, Retire radio podcast with Steve Anzoni. My name is Jessica Forkel. Get more details on the website at fairwayfinancial.net. Now, here's the deal. I'm a big believer that these days, whether you are still working or you are about to enter retirement or you are retired, it seems like everybody is looking for a side gig. Everyone's trying to find out ways to make more money. Maybe it's a part-time gig. And I saw something online that listed a bunch of unique side hustles that actually pay decent money. This is a fun one. A secret hotel sleeper. Okay, get this. Luxury hotels, they hire mystery guests to stay overnight and rate everything from bed to service, you name it. You can make between $100 and $300 a night, and you get free stay in the meals. I mean, are you kidding me?
That's unreal. I mean, do they do
like
this in Europe? Can we go to Europe and be a tester?
I know, right? Can I try out the Marriott in France? That sounds good to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, geez, I wish. This is kind of a cool one. A Lego sculptor, if you know any Lego fans out there. Companies like Legoland, they will pay people to build large-scale sculptures and those displays. You can earn between $37,000 and $50,000 a year, Steve.
That's not that's full-time cash right there. I mean, man, that's awesome.
It is.
Like, my birthday girl, Tracy, would be unbelievable at that. You should see the Legos we have at our house. I mean, it's
oh my gosh,
over the top.
And these are her Legos or the grandkids?
No, hers.
Oh, wow.
That she built and displayed, everything from Lord of the Rings to
oh my gosh,
Star Wars and even Formula One. She has a McLaren F1 racing car.
Oh, wow.
It's really, really awesome. I don't know how she has the patience. I mean, some of these things have thousands of pieces, Jess. Thousands.
I know.
Thousands.
I know. My son's getting into Legos, and it gives me a headache. There's too many pieces.
There's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there's her side gig. If she ever gets tired of working next to you every day, she can go build some Lego sculptures.
There you go.
Last on the list, I can go ahead and tell you I have no interest in this, but if you'd like to do some pet food tasting, wow, brands like Purina, they will hire folks to taste the texture before pets eat it. I don't understand this, but if you're into it, it's around $40,000 a year. So if that's your thing, go to it, make some cash. But if you think about it, listen, there's a lot of folks out there looking for part-time ways to add to their retirement income. My parents are doing the same thing. They're always looking for something to do, make money. But what are some of the financial aspects that we need to consider first when it comes to getting a part-time gig?
Well, the first thing is tax implications and where you're at now with income you have coming in. Will it push you in a different bracket? So that's one thing you have to be aware of. The second thing is the impact on your Social Security, because if you are not full retirement age, and for those of you born in 1960 and later, that is 67. So if you're taking Social Security and you're 65, and you go get a part-time gig that pays pretty good money, say like 20 or 25 grand a year, that's going to cost you some of your Social Security check. So you got to be leery about that, just understand how it impacts things. And the other thing is Medicare. If you're 65 and over, they have this thing called, it's a mouthful, income-related monthly adjustment amount. Wow.
Nice.
But
in English, what does that mean?
It means if you're making certain amount of money, they will go up on your insurance, basically.
Don't want that to happen. Okay, got it. Yeah.
But the other benefits, other than just the monthly income, is, again, that keeping busy factor, waking up with a purpose, right, and going out and, either building the thing or being that secret. I'm really intrigued by that secret hotel sleeper.
Me
I'm
too.
not gonna,
Listen.
I
think I'm going to sell this to my family and be like, listen, Mommy has to go make some extra money, so she's going to go by herself to a hotel.
Right.
And she's going to sleep all night and I think this is a winner for me.
Yeah, that might cause some issues now that I think about it with families with small kids, but there are some interesting stuff out there. Like for me, loving golf, I mean, I always said I'm going to be a ranger on the golf course. That would be fun because you get to play some free golf too. So there's another benefit to that.
Listen, if you want to work part-time because you want to get out there and just be with people, you can volunteer to do that. Maybe you're just tired of sitting on the couch or with your spouse and you're thinking, I got to be around other people. That's great. But I think at the end of the day, Steve, your job is to make sure that the income is there, and all these buckets you talk about, the income, inflation, emergency, and fund bucket, all these buckets are filled up so that you don't have to go back to work, right? You're not worried about your money running out because you sat down with Steve, you got the plan A, B, and C. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's the key, right, Jess, is to have a good plan set up. But, it's almost impossible to figure out what you're going to need in retirement, because just because you're retired doesn't mean you're not going to need as much income as you were making. I mean, everyone's different. If people like to travel or do cruises, that's not cheap. And so what you could end up doing is making X number of dollars while you're working and then retire and figure on needing maybe 60% of that, and then realizing, whoa, I need 80 or 90% of that. I have a good friend of mine, played some hockey with back in the day, and he gave me a call and said, hey, I'm thinking of, retiring. I just want to know if I can and all this stuff. So I said, sure. And went up to see him and, sat and talked and gave me all the financials and went over all that. And then we talked about, all right, what's your goal? What are you going to do when you retire? You're going to travel? You're going to do this? You're going to do that? So we had a really good conversation. And then that followed up to a second meeting where I came back after I ran all the scenarios and all the numbers. And I said to him, you're not going to be able to retire in a year. It's not feasible. You'll have the money to do it for about maybe 7 to 10 years. But then you're going to probably be at zero or near it with the amount of cash that you're going to need. I said, so the more realistic thing to do here is to think in terms of part-time. What can you do out there part-time to bring in a little bit of cash flow so that we can allow these piles of money to defer and grow a little bit, and you'll be okay. I mean, he wasn't off a ton, but, I said, look, realistically, because you're still in your early 60s, you're going to need 3 or 4 years to get those numbers up, and so that you can stay retired, or at least be retired mostly and work very, very part-time. And what's funny is I think most people who talk to me about these things kind of know in the back of their mind, I don't know if I can do this. It wasn't a huge shock to him and his wife. It was more of a reality check. And I think that's what he was looking for, is somebody who's done this for a lot of people, putting it on paper and showing him the bottom line. And he really appreciated and loved that, being able to do that. And we did talk about the buckets, and we did move and allocate some pieces to the right buckets for the future. At this stage, he just, it wasn't a full-time thing. I know a lot of you listening out there are in this situation. I get this so much. Steve, this is what I've got. Can I get there? Can I retire? What are my options? We can only do the show. We can only share the information. But you have to be a little more proactive and say, all right, this sounds great, but if you don't pick up the phone and do anything about it, it's just going to sound great and it'll go away. The time to do things, the sooner you can do things, the better position you're going to be in the future. I had someone listening for 5 years, Jess, call me a couple of weeks ago, and I said, where you been? He said, well, I was 52 at the time, and he goes, I'm ready now, So that's cool. That was a fun call. But you have to be a little proactive, folks. We all know procrastination, generally speaking, is not good in many cases. So pick the phone up and we can set up something, or, visit the website. And I really do look forward to speaking with you.
Yeah, guys, it all begins with you. I mean, if you have those questions, have I done enough? Can I retire? Can I retire this year? Or is it more like a 3 or 5 year plan? If you're not sure of those answers, this is where you need to be. Of course, sitting down with Steve. Just a reminder, guys, he's got over 30 years of experience. He and his team in the office, over 100 years of experience, guys. So you're sitting down with those that are educated in the subject of financial planning. And again, if you want to do this, we'll do a complimentary for you. It's all about that first conversation. We'll do a complimentary consultation to see, what are your questions? How can Steve help you? And if you have a portfolio you want him to look at, he'll do a portfolio review, guys. It's that simple. It all starts with you making a phone call, 508-552-3230. That's 508-552-3230. The website, fairwayfinancial.net. Now, you have probably done this yourself. You know the deal when you're maybe driving by a big fancy house and you go, how do these people do it? What do they do for a living? What are these wealthy people doing? We're always looking for what are the wealthy doing, right? And you may have heard that phrase, the millionaire next door. Well, it talks about people who have wealth, but they never show it or they don't even talk about it. Some call them the stealthy wealthy. Steve, what are some things that these wealthy folks are doing? And whether they're flashing it around or not, I mean, they're doing something we're not doing that we can learn from them.
I mean, the wealthy people that I know, you'd never know it. They don't flaunt it. They're focused, is what I've noticed. Like every person that I know who's considered wealthy has a financial plan. Every one of them, okay? So it's not going to guarantee your success if you just go out and get one, but it's certainly going to help you get there because you need to know what you need to do to get to where you're going. You just can't wing it. And so these people don't wing it. They have a plan, and they go after that plan. They maximize tax efficiency. In other words, they try to go after plans that are either tax-free or tax-sheltered that can help the money grow. They have multiple streams of cash. You know, and Warren Buffett, pretty wealthy man, just spoke of this recently. I think he's in his late 90s now. He said, if you only have one income, you're one moment away from poverty. I mean, that's scary. He talked about having multiple streams. And like, for example, if people have rental property. So now they have their working income and they have what is called the passive income, right? Or if they own a business on the side or something like that. So that's what he was talking about. And a lot of these people have that, and they're very keenly aware of what's going on in the economy and how to take advantage of those things. They're not smarter than we are. They're just more proactive than most people are. And that's the key, that word again, proactive. Some people see an opportunity. Some people act on an opportunity. And that's what I've found. Obviously, aside from the people who inherit a gazillion dollars, Jess. You know, the people who have earned it and worked are certainly more humble about it because they know what it takes. And it's not easy. And it doesn't mean you have to be a super wealthy millionaire. You know, some people, we don't really need that in our lives, but you want to be comfortable. And so a lot of these people I know, they don't drive these $200,000, $300,000 cars either. For example, Warren Buffett, I think he drives a station wagon.
And he literally, I mean, guys, he's a gazillionaire if you're not sure, but he lives in the same house he's lived in for 40, 50 years. He literally goes to McDonald's every morning and gets a Egg McMuffin and a cup of coffee, and this guy could buy any house and be anywhere in the world.
Wait a minute. What did you say, an Egg McMuffin and a cup of coffee? I'm a billionaire today.
Same.
I just happened to go. And by the way, I don't usually do this, but I was just, I don't know, it's up. I didn't grab breakfast at home. And I did. I haven't had an Egg McMuffin in, I don't know, 6 months, a year. So I got a coffee.
Channeling him.
Yes.
You're channeling Warren Buffett. I like it. Well, listen, if you're trying to channel in what the wealthy do, I think you hit the nail on the head here. All the wealthy folks, they have a plan, a PLAN. It is everyone's 4-letter word that you should be living and breathing. Plan. You need an income plan. Maximizing tax efficiency. That is huge. Less money in Uncle Sam's pocket means more money in your retirement. Then you got the multiple streams of income, guys. And if you're sitting there going, what do you mean multiple streams of income? What am I just supposed to find a money tree somewhere? Well, this is a part of the conversation you're going to have with Steve about creating different multiple streams of income and that cash flow. So if you're looking to do what the wealthy do, give a call today. We're going to do a little retirement reality checklist here. What's the reality of you having that successful retirement? Do you have that 4-letter word, that PLAN? Let's talk about it. That phone number, 508-552-3230. 508-552-3230. Again, that website, fairwayfinancial.net. You know, Steve, we talk about it all the time. The number one fear in retirement is running out of money. And with talk, of course, of a looming recession, more are looking at annuities as a source of guaranteed income security. But they are very complex here. I want to talk about some of the common mistakes that you see when people try to buy an annuity on their own.
Oh, God, on their own? Good luck. It's a maze. Like if you go online and you Google annuities. You'll have 1,000 things hit you. It's mind-boggling. I've been in this business a very, very long time, and I work with over 60 companies. And I still get information every week about something new and different. It is complicated, and that's why, in my opinion, you need to work with an independent financial professional. It's going to help you tremendously to have someone with a good working knowledge of everything that's out there so you can understand better what companies can offer, because there are various types of annuities, just like there are various types of stocks and bonds and all kinds of things. Some are more aggressive than others. Some are designed for income, and some are designed for accumulation. So what I want to be clear that the biggest mistake that I see with people who own annuities is they've purchased the wrong one for what they're trying to do. So as an example, if your concern is that you want a paycheck for life, that's your number one concern, all right, is you need that cash flow for yourself and your spouse, then you want to buy a guaranteed income annuity, okay? You don't want to buy just an accumulation annuity or just a short-term annuity with an interest rate that does whatever, because it will fluctuate and it won't guarantee you a check. Conversely, if you're more interested in just trying to accumulate some money safely and let it grow tax-deferred, tax-sheltered, and you want to have some access to it every year in case you need it, then you want to buy an accumulation annuity, okay? And I'm not going to get into all the weeds and the details because it's too much. Those are just a couple of examples. But what I see most and why people don't understand the annuities right is it's not so much the consumer's fault, Jess. It's our fault as an industry that we fail to explain them correctly. Every time I talk to someone about it, I will go through, this is what this is designed for. This is what the purpose is. And I match that purpose to what the needs are. Like, for example, remember that story I said earlier of this couple who was planning on retiring in 7 years. Right. So I designed an annuity that was ready to go in 7 or 8 years, something like that. And then he came in and said, hey, I'm ready to go. And I was like, oh. So we immediately pivoted to, while he was there, he purchased a guaranteed income annuity, okay, and not a deferred annuity because he wanted the income within 6 months. And then we looked at what we had done for him 3 or 4 years ago and said, okay, this would have worked if you stay with Plan A, but now we're going to Plan B. We're going to pivot, and we're going to move this to another company that's going to do exactly what it is you're trying to do now. So we had that opportunity and that freedom to be able to do that, Jess, right? So you want to work with somebody who has a multitude of companies to be able to accommodate someone who makes a change like that. That's why an independent professional who can represent the client first and the company second can do a much more thorough job. And that's why I've been independent now for over 20-something years. I've been independent for that reason, to be able to represent my client first and then the company second. So if you want to learn more about how these particular products can help you meet your retirement income goals, I'd love to have the opportunity to talk with you.
Get more details on the website, fairwayfinancial.net. That's fairwayfinancial.net.
Steve Anzoni is a licensed insurance provider by the Division of Insurance and is not registered as an investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve Anzoni, Massachusetts Insurance License 3851053. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Anzoni is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Anzoni is licensed in your state, please call 508-398-3337.